Today's question comes from M.N. Minch on Noster, and he writes, do you use any 3D printing in your shop? This is a good question because this is something that I've thought about for a long time. Up until now, I haven't really had a shop to put a 3D printer in. I've been building a shop over the last few years, so I'm finally to a point where I can start thinking about that, and I do have plans on putting one in. I work in an aerospace machine shop, or I used to work in aerospace machine shops, and the Air Force has a specialty 3D printing group that we would use for different machining fixtures and different, drill jigs and all sorts of things. So it does definitely have a place in a shop, a 3D printer does, because it can do a lot of, or it can make a lot of different fixturing. It can make, like drill jigs, drill guides, stuff like that. And it's very, very handy. However, in the past, 3D printing has been kind of sold as the end-all be-all to manufacturing. And I think now that we're a few years down the line, we're kind of realizing that it can't do everything, and it can't. It's really, really useful for some things, making spare, one-off parts even. So if something breaks, you can make a one-off part. You can make a quick little tool and all that. It does have some drawbacks for the shop, and those drawbacks are, if you want to design something, you got to become proficient with some sort of 3D CAD. SolidWorks, which is very expensive for the amateur. There's numerous ones. There's CATIA, there's various other ones. The one I'm looking at is Fusion 360. It is free to the enthusiast, so it's not really for anyone that's really making a serious business. I think it's $1,000, for them to start charging you. So, or you have to make $1,000 for them to start charging you. That is one thing that a 3D printer, you have to become at least a little proficient in 3D CAD. And if any of the viewers of this video have any other suggestions for CAD, free CAD especially, please drop them down in the comments below, because I would like to know, and others would like to know too, because we're in an era where there is going to be a lot of free CAD out there, more and more. So I do believe it has a place, and also there's a little bit of a post-processing issue with 3D printing, which is not a big deal. You just have to be aware of it. There's a lot of removal, a lot of fine-tuning, a lot of maybe machine off a part, a surface or two. So I definitely want to find a moderate size 3D printer, not too much money. I don't want to spend too much money on one, but a modest size. So if you have any suggestions, please drop them down in the comments below for myself and others. Because I do think it has a definite place in a shop, and I really, really want to get one. I have one of my past projects and one of my future projects has been the modification of a manual mill to CNC milling. And I'm more than 3/4 of the way through that project. but I have a lot of parts to make for it. I can mill a few aluminum parts and stuff, but I'd like to make other parts, and I think a 3D printer would be fantastic for that. Making the one-off part and all that, to kind of put the finishing touches on a project. So that's my thoughts on it. I think it's a very worthwhile addition to a wood shop or a metal shop that it's kind of one of those things. It's a tool in your hip pocket, and you can use it whenever. The next question is, how do you balance shop setup and organizing time versus using time? I've seen people spend years making the right shop setup and then never really use it. How does someone focus on achieving goals versus preparing for unstated goals? I like the old adage of I think it was Abraham Lincoln. I may be wrong, but Abraham Lincoln that said, "If I have 4 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend 3 hours sharpening the saw." I'm big on sharpening the saw. Do things that help you with the jobs at your shop that you need to do in your shop. However, I am not one that likes to spend, a lot of time super organizing a shop, with every little tool and a shadow board and stuff like that. The way my shops have been in the past, things change too fast, and that's just not the way I want to spend my time. Is doing every little shadow board and labels everywhere. I do want to label things a little bit more. I think that helps, but I'm going to strike a balance between the two, because I'm a firm believer in a shop is to produce things and to produce works of art, and I think too much time can be spent making the shop pretty, which YouTube is, there's a lot of pretty shops out there, and that's great. I mean, that's the way, but you don't have to have one as a beginner. You don't have to have a pretty shop. I've been at woodworking for 30 years or so or longer, and my shops have never been, where every tool, planers out on the shelves and stuff like that. I don't even use a plane, so it's something I've never really learned how to use. So you don't have to have that. Just make your shop clean, which it comes up with the next question, but a clean shop is good, and enough space to be able to work in, as much space as you can. I started in a single car garage, and that was great, and that was all I could have at the time. Fortunately, I have a lot larger shop now that I'm blessed with, but try to organize to where you're not stepping on things too much, and try to clean up to where you don't have an unsafe, dirty conditions. Which is the next question. Do you clean up right after the job is done, when done for the day, or just leave it where it is and wait until you need it again, then go back for it? It depends. I am trying to make things a little bit cleaner, because I've been kind of I'll wear myself out during the day, and then I don't want to clean up at the end of the day, so I'd leave it out. And part of that was I was so building this shop, I was so disorganized that it was just hard to get anything organized or anything clean. Now that I've started moving in, I mean, I just now got on electricity out here, so I've gotten to the point where I'm able to roll things out and start to organize and put things in their place. And I find that helps with cleanup a lot easier. So you just need to get to a certain point where, you know, it's clean enough. And that's kind of the way I'll approach it. It's clean enough. I want to use this YouTube channel and this shop to produce neat and interesting things, and it's not my channel is not about my shop. It's about what you can do with a shop, or what I can do with my shop. So that's my thoughts on it, and that's the way I'm going to approach this channel in the past and then in the future. Is you know, getting to a practical level of tooling, of knowledge, and of organization to where you can produce beautiful things. And that's what it's all about. That's why we have these things, is to produce beautiful handmade items that are not store-bought and, you know, millions of them made. So I hope that answers your questions. I appreciate your questions. Thank you very much. And if you like this video, please like or subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.